When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? I always ask that of all my prey. I just like the sound of it.
How about it, you creep, you lunatic?
Good morning, Raider Nation. What is the deal with everybody this morning? Glad to see you guys here. Man, happy Mickey Ficky Tuesday. Yes, indeedy. It is Tuesday morning here on Raiders Allegiance with yours truly, Lunatic Raider. Like to welcome all you guys, man. You're the real MVP this morning. You feel me? I'm just here to get some info across and get some opinions dialed in, you know what I mean? So we're going to wait a minute because I just put out the links as usual. Just going to wait for people to click on and come in and, you know what I mean? We're going to try to grow this shit. But I see everybody out there, man. I see y'all. Motherfucker. Hold on. I got to give me a toast to my nation. Hold on. Cheers to Raider Nation for being able to wake up on a Tuesday morning, another day to face and conquer. You know what I mean? Silver and black, you're not alone. We ride together as one. One nation, Raider Nation. You already know. Salute to everybody that's out there in the chat. Salute to everybody that's pulling up and is watching this show. Let's go ahead and dive into my extended Raider Nation family and give them their early morning shout outs. You feel me? Thank you guys. Eagletarian 207. What is the deal, my guy? Top of the AM to you. Then we got B. Al in the house. Good morning to you, man. Forever Onyx. There you go. I hear Autumn Wind is a motherfucking. Hey, let's see. Let's see if we get the Autumn Wind jumping off. You know what I mean? Let's see if we can. What? It's jumping off. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. Oh shit. Oh shit. There it is. Shout out to everybody out there. Forever Onyx, yes indeed. 2 red rings, my guy. Good morning to you. NorCal Raider Jesse is in the house. Salute to you as well. Robert Pena, my guy, is in the chat. Holly Tanner is in the chat. Good morning to you. Dominic 5, good morning. Thank you for pulling up. Oh, you guys are coming in hard with it, man. For real. Oh my goodness. Who else I getting ready to say next? Navy Vet 44. Salute to you, man. Thank you for pulling up this morning. Man, we are in here. For real. Yes, indeedy. Let's do this shit. We are here. Thank you guys for pulling up. To those who are watching and this is your first time here, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Knock the hell out of that notification bell so you can be notified of all the content I release, even breaking news. Thank you for pulling up. I'm rolling out the silver and black carpet for you. Always feel free to come back and join us every weekday morning here on Raiders Allegiance. It's the Good Morning Raider Nation show with yours truly, Lunatic Raider. We're here every Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern. Feel free to kick off your shoes, grab your coffee, your tea, your orange juice, get you a nice, your warm breakfast, pancakes, waffles, you know what I mean? Some SOS. Like, what's SOS? Yeah, you some of y'all might know about the SOS, chicken and waffles, you know what I mean? Chicken fried steak. Get your breakfast on, man, before you hit that door and take on the rest of the day. You feel me? Fill that body up with that energy it needs so we can keep it moving. Yes, indeed. Oh, who else we got in the motherfucking house? Somebody just else. Tubby, my guy Tubby. Old Van City Raider in the house, man. What is good with you, bro? For real. You been booking your trip for Vegas for the home game? Did you get it? You get your flight and all that taken care of? You excited, man. And don't forget, I got a shirt for you, man. I have not forgotten. I told you. I will be there. I will be there for real. Salute to everybody, man, for real. Okay. For those that don't know, how many of you guys are familiar with Mitchell Renz on the Raider Report on YouTube, his channel? You guys are with Chat Sports, you guys familiar with him? 14 hours ago, matter of fact, I'll let you guys see it rather than me sit here and talk about it. And we're going to dive into this little gem of info that we've gotten. And that's what I've been working on this morning, was putting shit together for this. So what we're going to do is, before I even tell you who it is, but I'm pretty sure some of y'all done probably seen the show where he talked about this, but then again, he tweeted this. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the news that is jumping off this AM. And I'm going to show you guys. Bam, let's do this. Okay. So this is going to set off what the subject will be this morning. For those that don't know, Mitchell Renz had tweeted out this tweet right here. Per source, Raiders are shopping Clelin Ferrell. That doesn't mean a trade will happen, but Las Vegas is listening and looking for offers. There we go. And and bells start going off in my head because I think of there's more than one thing that I'm looking at with this situation right here. One, why are they doing it now? Before they even get in the training camp. You see what I'm getting with this? Why are they looking for a trade for Clelin Ferrell right now? Unless, okay, let me not get to that point yet. I'm going to cover that aspect in a minute. But to trade him now makes sense. Let me go into, I just want to show you guys this one right here. All right, let me pull this down, and then let me go into this card I made. Now, it makes a lot of sense after diving into the statisticals, you remember that, not testicles, statisticals. When I dove into the statisticals of Clelin Ferrell, he is not progress, regression in his tenure with the Raiders. So yes, it makes sense for them to try to move him because his stats went backwards from his rookie year to now. So let me go ahead and pull up this card for you guys. This is what I made this morning. All right. Mr. Clelin Ferrell, we already know he comes out of Clemson. He is in his fourth year, 6'4", 265 pounds. Now, this is just last year's stats. Very, very, very underwhelming, to say the least. 16 games he played in, 8 solo tackles, 6 assisted, 0 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions, 1 pass defended. Very, very, very unimpressive. You know what I mean? Compared to the previous 2 years where his numbers they were okay. They weren't the greatest. They were okay. But he had more sacks and whatnot. So there was a little more statisticals to go ahead and grade by. Michael Guerrero, thank you. Hey, good morning, man. I'm glad you're here. Good morning, Michael. For real. Yes. So these stats are very under considering, like, okay, we say that it's not his fault for where he got drafted by us. For us, it was a reach. Compared to production to where he was drafted, it was a reach. 2021, the numbers don't lie. This is what the numbers he put up as a top first round pick. Not the bottom tier, not the second round, but a top first round pick. And he did get awards with Clemson while he was there. You know what I mean? But to be fair to him, the regime had him, the previous regime had him gaining weight, had him losing weight, wanted him to play defensive end, outside linebacker, a lot of this, a lot of that, a stripper. Then he was doing hair, babysitting, selling dope, detailing cars, out on the corner, begging for cash. He was doing all kind of shit. He wore many different hats, shall we say. But man, it is what it is. So with the news coming out that they're looking to trade him and they're listening to offers, yes. So that's one aspect. Is my question was, well, why now? I thought maybe that they'll give him an opportunity to go into camp next month and prove himself, because he's been working hard. But maybe it's not about him. You see where I'm going with this? Maybe it is not about him. I mean, you won more games with Ferrell, but this is where I'm going to come back to that. Wins and losses is a team stat, not individual. I know a lot of people put that pressure on Carr, but Carr is only one man out of 53. Football is the deepest roster sport there is. There's no other sport that carries a roster of 53, not to mention the 16 now accepted on the practice squad. So, with that being said, this is not boxing. It's not one man versus one man. This is not tennis. This is not golf. This is football. You have to have all 53 to win games. If your defense can't stop nobody, you're asked out. If your offense can't score, but your defense is good, the Raiders had that issue before early 2000s. Not early, but later on. We had like the second-ranked defense in the league. Guess where our offense was? Bottom. You know what I mean? And it's one of the only sports that the players do not play two-way. Basketball, you must play defense and offense. Baseball, you must play outfield and bat. You know what I mean? Soccer, you got to play defense and offense. Hockey, defense and offense. Football, you only got one job. One job. And that's all you're responsible for. You know what I mean? So Clelin Ferrell, yes, they might have won more games with Clelin Ferrell, but it wasn't like he dominated a game like Chandler Jones has. He has not dominated a game like Max Crosby has. You know what I mean? So, but I think it's a combination of more than one thing with Ferrell. Lack of production last season is one of those things. Plus, he is not this regime's guy. They did not draft him. So he's spendable. He's expendable. You know what I mean? That's not their guy. They got a shitload of picks going in the next year. They can easily go in there and draft their guy. They already brought one of their guys in at defensive end, Chandler Jones. They rewarded another guy that they accepted as their own, Max Crosby. So those defensive end slots is locked down. It's locked down. But I'm reading in between the lines. It's not just this. That's part of the problem. Okay? His lack of production at whatever position they put him at. But then again, I'm sure McDaniels and Ziegler understands that was him under somebody else's system with a different regime, with a different outcome. But I would think before you start putting fillers out there on trade bait for this young man, that you would give him an opportunity in July when camp opens to prove himself. Maybe he's out there working his ass off. Maybe Patrick Graham's system fits him way more better. Patrick Graham was excited to have him, moving him outside linebacker, he has experience at defensive end, so he can multitask with different positions. But what if it's more than that? And this is where I'm getting to. I'm going ahead. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just going to throw this out there. What if Sue is in negotiations with the Raiders? Now, let's get to the other part of if they trade Clelin Ferrell. Now, look at these stats. Well, not stats. Look at this number. This is dead money versus cap money. If you were to cut Clelin Ferrell, since it's post June 1st, you have $9.78 million in dead cap space, dead money, with zero cap space if you release them. If you trade him, the dead money goes down to 5.2, and you add 4.7 million to your cap. So then what we have right now is 20.2 million. You add 4.7 to that, now you're looking at roughly $25 million under the cap. So say, for instance, Sue is negotiating and looking to get about 10 million. Now you can give Sue 10 million and you still have 15. Whereas if you're stuck with the cap the way it is now, you have 10 and you spent 10 on Sue. You could do more with 15 than you can with 10. That's just, come on now. It's just 5 million more. You know what I mean? But, or it might not even be 10 million. Maybe it's something else, but there's a certain number that they're looking to stay at under the cap. You know? But it makes sense because, like I said, why are you putting fillers out right now for a trade? Right now. You still got about a month before camp opens. It opens on the 18th of July for the rookies, 20th of July for the veterans. Currently it is the 28th. You got 3 weeks. Why are you putting out trades, fillers out now? Rather than him coming and showing you this system is meant for him, he can produce in it. Unless they're trying to make a roster spot and clear money at the same time. And that move will do it. That move would do it alone. He will give you almost $5 million under the cap, and it clears a roster spot on the defensive line. Something, I'm not saying that's what it is, but you get too much back and forth. Oh, the Raiders aren't interested in signing him just right now. Why not right now? Until they open up a spot and free up more money? Is that when they'll be able to start? Okay, now let's talk about this shit. We got the money now. Because they can't do anything unless they move Ferrell. If they can move him, and not just that, it also brings them back draft capital. You will get a draft pick from him. What are you willing to accept for Clelin Ferrell? What draft pick do you guys feel Clelin Ferrell? I mixed them both. I did a mix. Claro. You know what I mean? What kind of draft capital is Clelin Ferrell equate to? What is his value? What do you feel his value is? Another 5th? Or you got to go a little higher? What do you think Ziegler and them is trying to get, a 4 or a 3 maybe? I'm not sure. That is a hard one to try to gauge. Because you can't really compare his value to where you drafted him at, but teams are going to look at his value at production. And that's why I said underwhelming. These stats right here will not get you a high draft pick from any team. Because they know. And the Raiders is not going to release him. Fuck no. They're not going to release him. And if you release him, you're going to have dead fucking cap space of 9.9, almost $10 million that's under cap, and that person's not here to go ahead and work that off. You know what I mean? They're not going to release him. So if they can't trade him, they're going to keep him. Now that might force another team that wants Ferrell to go ahead and make a move or trade for him, because they can think, okay, if they can't trade him, they're not going to release him, so we can't just swoop in and offer him a contract as a free agent. That's not going to happen. Raiders is not going to eat $10 million by releasing Clelin Ferrell. That does not make any sense. So your best bet is to try to get any kind of draft capital, period, by trading him and freeing up almost $5 million and a roster spot at the same time. So there's 3 things that you get out of trading Ferrell. Draft pick, money under the cap, roster spot, all in one swoop. So that makes it more like, okay, it's more of a value to the team to trade him. So I'm thinking maybe Sue is because you're not going to clear a spot off the defensive line, you know what I mean, with Ferrell and not replace it with a defensive lineman. Unless there was somebody in camp that impressed them. But we got injuries at defensive tackle. And we know that, that was last year. They put him at defensive tackle a few times. You know what I mean? But when you got Bilal Nichols banged up, you got Jonathan Hankins banged up, wouldn't you think keeping him would make more sense unless you're bringing a legitimate defensive tackle into your system? to go ahead and hit the ground running? I'm just guessing. Shout out to everybody out there, man. No. You don't want to trade Clelin Ferrell for another player. No. What's Peters? Watch this shit. This is why. See, because right now, the way I'm looking at it is the way McDaniels and them been playing this, cap space is very important to them. Because they cleared this $20 million on June 1st. It's July 1st, Friday. It's been a month and ain't spent none of that shit. They spent the money that $6 million that we had, $4 million of it is gone already. So that's why we're at 20.2. Or actually $6 million gone. Because that's why we're at 20.2. When we had 6.5 before the 20 freed up on June 1st. So we spent the money we already had before that June 1st allocation freed up. So now they're sitting on that 20 million. And it makes sense. You're not going to go out there and blow your load. But if you can add to it and say for instance, Sue only, because like I said, with the addition of the 4.7, if they trade Clelin Ferrell and they add it to the 20.2 million, that's roughly $25 million. Say for instance, Ndamukong Suh only wants $7 million. So that means you're only taking $2 million from that 20 and adding it to the 5 that's in there as well. So you still have $18 million under the cap after signing Suh for a 1-year, $7 million deal. I'm telling you, something is adding up to be something more than what we think. But if they are trying to trade Clelin Ferrell, it's a reason. Especially this early. It's a fucking reason, for real. Shout out to Pyro, man. For real. Hey, Foster Moreau sniffed tricycle seats and swing sets. From what Darren Waller said, he's a freaky deaky. He sniffed. They caught him in the Raiderette locker room sniffing all the chairs. Foster Moreau was in there sniffing all the seats in the Raiderette locker room. They caught his ass, boy, not red-handed, caught him red-nosed. You know what I mean? Caught his red nose sniffing. Omar Juarez, man. Hey, good morning, man. Thank you for pulling up. But yes, man, with this Clelin Ferrell situation, there's a lot go underneath the surface of this shit. As far as me trying to break it down and analyze just the numbers and the news. That's all I got. Because Ziegler ain't going to say shit. McDaniel ain't going to say shit. We're not going to find out until something does happen. But there's a fucking reason why you're trying to move this dude in the end of June without having him. I didn't hear anything bad about him in OTAs and mandatory. I didn't hear nothing bad. But to not let him hit training camp in July and really get to, you know what I mean? There's something to that, man. There is something to it. Raiders got somebody on their radar. They got something on their radar. They're trying to free up a spot, and they're trying to free up almost $5 million. Why? Because that's telling me, well, I can't really say there's two people they're after. I think they just want to have enough money for when teams cut down, and I said this previous in other videos, when teams cut down to 53, you're going to scour the release wire, the waiver wire, and see who's out there that you could possibly bring in on a cheap deal and it can help out. It'll be a depth move unless somebody releases a player that catches everybody by surprise and they say, oh shit, they released who? And that's somebody that can come right in and help us. Maybe it's a corner. You know what I mean? Maybe it's, who knows? You know what I mean? There's different positions out there that another team, like I say, one team's trash is another team's treasure. So somebody that might be a release due to the depth at that position plus the addition of either free agents or draft picks at that same position, and then maybe those draft picks or free agents showed their ass in the mandatory mini camps and so forth, and it was like, you know what? The veteran dude is expendable. You know we owe him $10 million this year. That $10 million, you know what I mean? You can release him post June 1st. They're probably going to save half of that. Just like us with Clelin Ferrell. You release him, not release him. You're not going to really, you're going to release like the lower dudes on making the team, like the undrafteds and shit like that. That's not going to be dead cap space. That's unguaranteed money. That's what you want to release. And it makes sense because you're going to keep your team intact. But a solid veteran, that's why teams try to trade instead of release because of that dead money. Unless they're going to eat it this year and it comes off the books next year. You know what I mean? So we'll see. We'll see. I say the rumor is Cap. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Because I know that Ziegler and them does not say shit. But what about the other end of a potential trade? Or the other end of discussing a trade? So we might not talk, but the teams that's been called by the Raiders might leak shit out. The agent of the player might leak shit out. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure. Why wouldn't the agent not leak Clelin Ferrell's name out there as far as Raiders are looking to trade him? Because that'll make other teams that thought he wasn't available to be like, well, shit, we don't want a rival in our or division to go trade for him. Let us go get him. It dries the market up if they find out that he's available. Because then other teams are going to be, you know what I mean? If they want him. But especially if they feel they can steal him with a low draft pick. But right now, the Raiders will take any draft pick you got because this regime did not spend a draft pick on Clelin Ferrell in the draft. That was Gruden and them. So that's their hands is clean of that. So they can move them, get draft capital, and it's like a win-win because they weren't the ones to lose that draft pick by reaching for them and then getting a lower draft pick and returning the trade. They're the ones receiving the draft pick. They never made that pick. So to them, there's like, shit, we're winning. So now, instead of just having a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, 3 5s, a 6, and 2 7s, say, for instance, they get another 5. They can only get a 5 for Ferrell. Now you got 4 fifth-round picks. Do you know how valuable the 4th and 5th round is in the draft? Especially when you got extra picks. You can package those picks up. You know what I mean? You can add a 5 with a 1 and maybe jump from where you're at with the 1 up a few spots. And it won't hurt you because you still got 3 more picks in the 5th round. You can move up to get a player that you really want that can really come in day one and start for this team in the 1st round. See, we didn't have a 1st round or 2nd round. We use it on Davante Adams, which is coming in on day 1 and starting for this team. So you might as well look at the compensation like it evens itself out. We gave up a 1 and 2 for a legitimate starter who's basically, arguably, the best receiver in football. Of course, a 1 and 2. It beats giving up 2 1s. You know what I mean? So they won that fucking trade for real. But with Ferrell, yeah, this regime, they don't give a fuck about where he got drafted. That had nothing to do with them. They know they got their draft picks next year. And oh my God, man, I'm telling you, they gotta, I want to see what they do next year, to be honest, in the draft. Especially after being able to go through their first trial without a 1 and a 2 with Ziegler and McDaniels. And they got an idea now of how to work this shit. Because they worked it this year. In the draft, they went out with only a 3rd, 4th. They didn't have a 5th, did they? Was it a 5th or a 6th that we didn't have? And a 7th. Traded up, got Zamir White. We trade up in the 4th and got Zamir White. We traded back, got extra pick. They maneuvered with just a little bit of draft capital they have. Now they're going in there loaded. They're going into the draft fucking loaded next year. If they move Ferrell, that is another draft pick that they will add to their arsenal next draft. You know what I mean? So they got their eyes set next year because I remember hearing this year, Ziegler said that the scouts and everybody are already working on next year's draft. And this was before the draft even took place this year. Way before. I'm like, these motherfuckers is already working on next year's draft? Oh, it's got to be deep at a certain. I got to go look at my college football scouting shit and pay attention to the potential draft picks coming out of this year's college football season and see what positions are the deepest going into next year's draft. That's what I'm curious, because I want to see if it matches up with what we need. A corner, linebacker, more running backs. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these guys are free agents after this year. Receiver. If the wide receiver 2 does not really sort itself out with Demarcus Robinson and Keelan Cole, and they're really not a number 2, if they're not producing like that, then you go into the draft and you go get you a stud-ass wide receiver to put with Davante Adams and put him under Davante Adams' wings, and then you'll have 2 beasts on the field. So I want to see the depth at wide receiver, the depth at corner, the depth at even the defensive line. What's coming out of college next year? Where's the deepest? Does anybody have an idea of what's supposed to be the deepest positions in the draft next year coming out of college? I'm curious. I want to see if that, like, if it goes in line with what we may need next year, with a whole lot of draft capital that we're going into the draft with next year as well. I'm just curious. See, and that's another thing. QBs. I'm not satisfied with these backups. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody will pan out. But look, I said this yesterday. With the system and the weapons that any quarterback has around them, you got to be weak as hell to not succeed in this offense. Period. You cannot be a true NFL pro-type quarterback if you can't succeed with Davante Adams, Renfro, Waller, Josh Jacobs, McDaniels offense. You can't succeed with that. That's why I say it's a system thing. Because New England, it didn't matter who was in that offense. They got out there and they produced and they gave legitimate wins to that organization to not lose a beat when old punk-ass Tom Brady was out with either a knee or Deflategate on a suspension. Garoppolo came in. He only lost one game. What was he? He was 4-1 in the first 5 games, or 3-1. And then Matt Castle did the same thing, came in there and killed it. He did it so well that fucking New England robbed Kansas City by trading his ass there. And Castle didn't do shit. Garoppolo didn't do shit with the Niners. Fuck getting close. It was their defense that got him as far as they did in San Francisco. Not Garoppolo. Hell, they want to move on from him. They're trying to trade him, and he just had late season or early season shoulder surgery. Because the season ain't even started, but he's damaged goods. Motherfucker gonna give him an 8th round pick and knowing there's only 7. Yes, we gave the Niners an 8th round pick. An 8th round pick? That equates to a 7th rounder next year. But yeah, man, the Raiders got something up their sleeve. I'm saying it because this shit is making too much sense for why why are they, if it's not cap, if this shit is real shit, and they are out there testing the market trying to get a trade for him, it does not make sense unless you got somebody in mind that's going to move right in and not skip a beat. You know what I mean? Like for instance, if they trade Farrell, okay, say Farrell gets traded, who that's on the roster as we speak would they have replace Farrell? Who can do what Farrell? Outside linebacker, defensive end. Who on this team can do that? That they would want doing that? That's what I want to know. Kuntz? You think they'll be making room for Kuntz to go ahead and slide in there and do all that shit? Did he impress during the mandatory and the OTAs? All right, Michael. Hey, thank you for pulling up and spending the time that you did with me, man. I appreciate you. For real. Thank you for pulling up. It's been a pleasure. Always a pleasure with Mike. Mike, funny as shit. Man. Glenn Bailey, what's going on? I don't. Well, they could be waiting for preseason cuts and I also made this other statement as well. It's not just or the 53-man cut. In case a team If we're doing what we're doing with Farrell, then what players are other teams trying to move as well? And in order to trade for a player, you must have here we go. We must have the salary cap to absorb that contract. You know what I mean? You must have that space. So they'll have space, but $25 million is nice sitting back waiting to see who these motherfuckers cut. If that's what they're doing. You know what I mean? Go out there and whatever a team releases that can help your team win games and eventually get us to that Super Bowl that we're trying to get to, hey, you pull the trigger. You pull the trigger. Now then you'll have $5 million more and a roster spot. But there's gonna be roster spots. We'll see if we cut below 53. That's the other thing that's kind of interesting. I know we're supposed to cut down to 53, but we might cut down below 53. And then you got to pay attention to the practice squad. Because like I said, now that's been increased to 16 people on the practice squad, with 6 of those players able to be 2-year veterans or more years on the practice squad now. And the other 10 is 2 years less than 2 years. You're undrafted and shit like that. So that's why I said there's about 5 players that I like that's undrafted that could potentially be practice squad targets if they don't make the 53. But we won't find out until next month when camp opens and see how they perform. And the preseason. Hey, we're getting close, you guys. Hey, they're getting real close to fine-tuning this roster so we can be able to see what the finished product is going to look like. And then all in all, in the totality of the players in this system, do we have the right pieces to be able to contend for a Super Bowl? That's all that matters. Can we contend for a Super Bowl with the pieces that are left after 53 cuts? You know what I mean? We got to look at everything. I know a few other content creators went through and did a mock cut down to 53. And, hey, Sultan did his shit and it was solid. There was a couple of question marks as far as which direction you could have went with other players, but it made sense. Like, okay, it made sense. Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. And then, like you said, if they're waiting for cuts from other teams, what position and what players do we go out there and chase? What is a necessity? And if there's a couple of banged up guys on defensive tackle, that's definitely. And maybe it's not Sue. Maybe it's Goldman from the Bears. Maybe Goldman is one of the guys we're looking at. How much he wants, I don't know. What does he feel his value is in free agent market? I don't know. But a lot of teams already done shot they wide already. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot of money to really chase down out there. Just like they're trying to say, oh, Minnesota and the Raiders are interested in Sue. But Minnesota only has $9.7 million under the cap. Raiders have 20. You know what I mean? So the buck stops at 9.7 with the Vikings. And we wouldn't have to match 9.7. We would have to match $1 million less because with the state income tax, they're going to take about $800,000. Well, it depends on how much he gets offered. If they offer him 8, they're taking it's almost 10% tax bracket in Minnesota that Sue would be having to give up. So he'll walk away with $800 less on an $8 million contract. Where us, we can offer less, $800,000 less than Minnesota, and he'll walk away with the same amount. That's our advantage. So they offer him $8 million, we offer him about 7. You know what I mean? And he'll still walk away with the same amount. That's our advantage. And 7 won't hurt us. Especially if you got 25, like I said. If he wants 7 and we get 25 for trading Farrell, you still got $18 million after that. Yes, sir. $18 million under the cap still with the addition of Sue. If he take 7. Because he took 8 with Tampa Bay last year. He took 8 for 1 year. I'm sure 7, and there are no state income tax state as well, so that's not going to even play a part. But what plays a part is that he's closer to home, which is Portland, and he trains at Nike in Beaverton, Oregon, outside of Portland. So that's where Nike headquarters is, and that's where they got a training facility for all the pro athletes that They got different buildings and everything to go work out there, man. They're state of the art for real. So he will be closer to home. He has 2 twin boys. You know what I mean? He'll be closer home. You know what I mean? So, hey, sometimes that worth $7 million, taking $1 million less than what you took last year? Shit. For peace of mind? Shit. He doing all right because he making money outside of football as well. Believe that. I think he's got a lot of real estate shit jumping off as well. But yes, that's what I'm believing is happening. I think the Raiders got their sights on somebody. Is it Sue? Could be. It's gonna be. Could it be Goldman? Could be somebody along the defensive line. It makes sense? You if you trade one, you replace him with the same position. You know what I mean, or the group. Because I know Farrell was defensive end, defensive tackle. Talk about outside linebacker. He played multi positions, and you would have to go ahead and think that he won't be a starting defensive end because you got Crosby and Chandler. Maybe rotational? Yeah, probably so. Defensive tackle? Yes, I can see him playing some of that. But if you bring Sue in at the nose and you're coming out of a base of 3-4, there it is. You got Sue, Max Crosby, and Chandler in your 3-4. You know what I mean? You go to a nickel, you can go to a 4-2-5. Or you can keep it a 3. You can go 3-3-5 and replace the linebacker with a corner in the nickel package with a 3-3 rather than going and making your linebackers only 2 and replacing the third one out in a 4-3, keeping 4 down linemen and keeping 2 linebackers with 5 fucking corners. You can do that. But a lot of teams a few teams, they choose to replace a lineman with a corner and keeping the 3 linebackers, thus going 3-3-5. There it is. So there's a difference of opinion and coaching as far as do we replace one of the linebackers with the nickel or do we replace one of the defensive linemen with the nickel? And that's your difference. That is your difference in a nickel. You got choices. So you can go 3-3-5, 4-2-5. It all depends on how you want to do it. Or you can just randomly just switch up. Keep the motherfucking offenses guessing. What the fuck? They're in a 3-3? Okay. They're 4-2? You know what I mean? It's a lot of shit. A lot of shit. So, yeah, man, it's something I'm trying to, I want to see exactly, man, because I'm looking at this money. And the only hit that the Raiders would take, the dead money in that is $5.2 million. But I'd rather take 5.2 in a trade, dead money, free up 4.7, and cutting him is not an option. I would not cut Farrell because then the whole contract is dead money. That's money you're paying. Basically, the way the cap works, you're paying $10 million for a player that's not there. You know what I mean? Not literally, but you know what I mean? That's the money your cap is taking a hit for. When you can get some relief under the cap by going ahead and trading him, at least giving you a half the relief of a $10 million contract. So I know, yeah, they're not going to release him. That does not make any fucking sense. Period. It's a trade or his ass is going to be on the bench. No, they'll get some production out of him somewhere on, you know what I mean, on the field. But yeah, releasing him is not an option. So teams don't have leverage with the Raiders if they want to trade for him, but willing to step back and wait for them to release him. They're not going to release him. That shit is not going to happen. No. He's not paying Sue $10 million. I didn't say that. What I said was that I'm saying Sue could take 7, but the less that he take from 10, the more money we will have still under the cap. That's what I'm looking at, our cap space. So if Sue takes 7 or even 6, then that's more money we have under the cap at 25 if Clelin Ferrell gets traded. Like I said, he gets traded. That's going to give us rounded off $25 million under the cap. You sign Sue for 7, then you have $18 million still under the cap with Sue. That's still, and you can release or trade somebody else to free up money to go back to 20 again. They have that option. You can trade a Jacobs, or there's other people you can trade, Kenyon Drake, that will put you back at 20 if you're at 18. There's all kind of moves they can make. That's why I said they're set up so nice. It's like you're not painted into a corner where it's like, oh, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't with the salary cap. They have flexibility, or they can make flexibility depending on the next player in line that they feel does not fit what they're trying to do, but other teams may want them. Like Josh Jacobs will have a market if they do decide to put him up for trade. I think the Saints would be one of them because they're bracing themselves for Kamara to be suspended for at least 6 games. So that's 6 games without him. You know what I mean? That's 6 games you can get put back, way back, without a run game in your fucking division. You know what I mean? So you got other options. Kenyon Drake. If you don't want to move Josh Jacobs, you can move Kenyon Drake. That frees up almost $3 million. So you sign Sue for 7. That's a hell of a deal. And you traded Farrell to get that almost 5 back. So now you're 18 still under the cap. You trade somebody like Kenyon Drake. Now you're back at 20 mil again. You know what I mean? That depends on Zamir White and Bolden getting out there. If they're killing it in preseason in the camp, somebody will be expendable between Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs. And they will get a draft pick for him. Because one thing about running backs, they do get hurt. That is the most abused position in pro football. It's the running back. People got to understand that. When they get the ball, they hit a line. The linemen in front of them that are trying to tackle him are 300 plus pounds. You get past them, now you're running the linebackers that's 250 or whatever, you know what I mean? So you're getting targeted by guys fucking way heavier than you. And that's where your tackles is. Running backs get tackled by fucking linemen and linebackers. Unless they can. You don't break the second level all the time. No. You're getting these big old chicken and waffle eating, bean and rice, cornbread and hush puppy eating motherfuckers is landing on top of your 190, 200 pound ass running back. They take the most abuse. So they go down. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys play fantasy football. How many times you got to replace running backs through the season? Josh Jacobs was hurt last year. Kenyon Drake was hurt last year on our team alone. You know what I mean? What about the running back from the Giants? Spending all that money. Running backs are expendable because they get hurt the most. They are subjected to physicality every fucking game. How you know, lunatic? Because I played running back. Not in pros. But even then, I had in high school, they always put the bigger kids on the line. Pop Warner. If you was a big fat motherfucker that ate pudding pops and candy all fucking day, you was on the line. Offense or defense. The biggest ones you kept on the line. So now my little ass, because as a Pop, I was a little motherfucking Pop Warner. I was just quick and fast. That was my asset. But quick and fast don't mean shit if I'm trying to hit that hole and this motherfucker's 12 years old and he's 250. You know what I mean? This motherfucker 12 years old ate all the snacks. You know what I mean? All the gummy bears. All the motherfucking Hostess fruit cakes. All the Snickers. The Reese's Pieces. Got chocolate smeared in his mouth looking like he was eating poop. This motherfucker 12 years old and weighs more than an NFL linebacker. The fuck? Here's a story. Let me get off track for a minute. This was in high school. And like I said, I wasn't the heaviest motherfucker in high school. My senior year, I was a $160. But I was fast, I had vertical, and I was quick. So that was my asset. So special teams, we scored a touchdown. We get ready to kick the ball off. And there's this big old white dude on the other. I ain't gonna forget. I played for Grant in Portland. The team we faced was Franklin. And I was like, no, it was Madison. This big old white dude. And I swear the white dude had to be about, that motherfucker was 200 plus. Like, he was a big fucking dude. But I had the mentality like, I didn't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm going to run at him full speed when we kick it off. And I'm going to lay him the fuck down. And I'm like a $160. And this motherfucker had to be close to 300. Man, I took off. I got up to it. I put a hit on his ass, man. Next thing you know, I'm looking. And I'm on my back on the ground looking up. Like this motherfucker, and I got up and looked, this motherfucker didn't even budge. This motherfucker just was standing there looking at me smiling. I was going to do it. I didn't do it, but hey, I fear not. I fear not, man. Hey, I ran full steam ahead, man. Thought I'm going to get this big motherfucker down. Shit, that motherfucker didn't even budge and he got me down. Man, I had to get up and like motherfucker went after the ball. But yeah, man, hey, these little motherfuckers be eating everything. Okay, son, your after school snack is 12 packs of Top Ramen. This motherfucker eating 12 packs of Top Ramen. Eating it out of a 5-gallon bucket. This motherfucker got a 5-gallon bucket. You gotta keep your weight up, son. Nigga, you motherfucker only 12 years old. This motherfucker eating 12 packs of Top Ramen. You know how much sodium, and he used every pack of seasoning. You know how much sodium is in that shit? This little motherfucker, boy, they making sure, hey, the parents is making sure this motherfucker go pro at 12. He like, motherfucker, you going pro. You gonna get us out of this little raggedy ass trailer that we live in, you little son of a bitch. Oh my God. But yeah, man, running backs get injured a lot. Thank God I didn't have any major injuries when I played. The most I had, the worst injury, probably bruised ribs. But that's when I played corner and I was going up for a fucking interception and the fucking corner on the other side of my team comes way across the field and jumps up for the interception too. And he hit me in the air and I flipped and landed on my ribs. I ain't gonna never forget that shit. My ribs are so sore. And then you figure after football season is wrestling. So I went to go wrestle. I couldn't really do shit. I had an ace bandage wrapped around my ribs and shit. I couldn't really do shit. That shit hurted so bad. But that's pretty much the worst injury. Thank God. Knock on wood. You see, that's wood. That's oak. Thank God I never broke anything. Never had torn anything. So I got lucky. But yeah, man. Hey, these running backs take abuse in the NFL, and it's like these big suckers that they gotta run through. Fuck, man. Can you imagine being on the bottom of a pile? You might just be 6 foot. Not even that. They got running backs 5'9", like Sincere McCormick, like 5'9", 180 something pounds, and you got 300, more than just one 300 motherfucker on you. Just because I say these linemen are like 300 plus don't mean just one motherfucker gonna land on you. Shit. Running backs, you better have a plethora. You better have a backup plan in case one goes down, because one will go down. One will go down, and that's just the way, that's the nature of the beast. When you coach your son's football team, the opposing team had a kid, was 12 years old, and 6'6", size 13 shoe, 255 pounds. Everyone at this, man, that motherfucker didn't have a driver's license. He had an AARP card. That God dang. See, that motherfucker ate 24 packs of Top Ramen. A whole pizza. This motherfucker ate 2 Little Caesar pizzas, 24 packs of Top Ramen, 4 liters of soda. and a pound of motherfucking chocolate. They kept that little fat fucker's weight up. I can't say fat fucker. At 6'6", he wasn't fat. At 250, 6'6", that motherfucker's a nowadays fucking power forward in the NBA. That's Draymond Green. Little Draymond Green playing with the 12-year-olds. You little dirty son of a bitch. You fucking ringer. the ringer. That motherfucker in there shaved his face. This motherfucker got a voice like Barry White. I am 12. Well, when was you born? This motherfucker doing math. 12 minus 2022. Yeah, I was born in 2010. You was a fucking lie. You was driving for Uber in 2010. You was an Uber driver. I swear, you work for Uber Eats because you look like that motherfucker that brought me my Chinese food. You little son of a bitch playing with the 12-year-olds. That motherfucker going to jail. That motherfucker going to jail. Damn, that's a little big motherfucker, man. 6'6", size 13 shoe. Oh my God. What the fuck? Parents was shooting them up with steroids at birth? Motherfucker was getting shot in the navel? Feed them baby food that got PEDs in it. And it wasn't no little ass jar. They was feeding his ass with no baby food jar. Hell no. That motherfucker was getting fed out of a big ass fucking cookie jar. They had a cookie jar full of baby food with PEDs in it. This motherfucker up here shooting up testosterone at 6 months old. What the fuck? Hey, motherfuckers, boy, I tell you, hey, that motherfucker need to get checked. They better check his bone density. He might have the Benjamin Button disease. That motherfucker was born at 50 years old. Every year he goes back. He goes back. So he was really 38 playing on your team because he went back 12 years at 50. You know what I mean? Oh, my God. Yeah, Mike Tyson was a beast. Hey, I remember seeing a story. The neighborhood kids used to have him fighting other neighborhood kids. That sound familiar? Fucking, hey, the older kids in neighborhoods ain't shit. They ain't shit. They used to do that shit to me when I was younger. Even my cousins used to do that shit. Put me in the backyard and fight their nephews and I'm like, these are my friends. What the fuck is y'all doing? I didn't say that shit back then. I was a little kid. Then they want to put me one against two. And, oh, my God. Older kids ain't shit. And I say that because when I was an older kid, I did the same thing to kids in the neighborhood. But we use boxing gloves, though. When I was little, they didn't use boxing gloves. They was just making us fight, like pushing you into each other and making y'all fight and shit. And it had me beating up my friends, man. That was fucked up. Treating us like pit bulls in the backyard or cocks. the chicken kind, not the other cock. the kind that they fight like Louisiana and Florida. The cock fights. Not the not the other cock. The cock with feathers. And not from the egg white from the Home Remedy book to replace KY jelly, the raw egg white. Not them feathers. Oh my God. But yeah, man. I got stories, man. I got stories for y'all asses. For real, for real. Look, NorCal Raider Jesse. Hey, shout out to all y'all, man. Hey, I'll be having a ball with y'all, man. But it's time to say goodbye to all my Raider friends. Shout out to everybody that's watching. If this is your first time, please do me a solid. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button. It doesn't cost a dime. I ain't going to charge you. You know what I mean? I ain't monetized, but I'm trying to get there. And with your help, I can do it. You know what I mean? But I salute you guys who are here in the chat, who are here watching. Like I say, without you, there's no me. And without us, there's no nation. There's only one nation. The motherfucking Raider Nation. You got that? Cowboys, ain't no Steeler Nation. Ain't I'm talking you motherfuckers now. Ain't no Cowboy Nation. Fuck all that bullshit. Ain't no Buck Nation. Maybe a buck ass whooping. You get a buck ass whooping, but ain't no nation, ain't no Cowboy Nation. We don't give a fuck about no old weak ass bang bang Niner game. Fuck that shit. Ain't no Steeler Nation. We owe y'all ass whooping on the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception this year. So be prepared to get your ass whooped. Patriots, you too. 21 years after the Tuck Rule. You getting your ass whooped. We might beat you by 21. Just because. We owe y'all. Y'all stole a lot from us. Man, that was the direction of two franchises. One becoming a dynasty. The other one never to be heard from again. It was that fucking Tuck Rule shit. Because we would have won that game. We would have went on to face Pittsburgh in the AFC West. Or not AFC West. The AFC Championship. And I think we would have whooped their ass that year with Rice, Brown, Woodson, Gannon. Man, we was deep. That was one of our best teams. And we got cheated. But you know what? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Because now we about to come back and slap the shit out y'all and take everything we are owed. We got a new regime. We got players that's of high caliber. This is not a season for us to waste with just making the playoffs and then going home with a loss. This is a season to go ahead and flip the whole shit on its back and make everybody say, the motherfucking Raiders are back. That's right. The silver and black is back. And that's all we want y'all to know, and let these motherfuckers know that we coming to whoop ass and take names later. Y'all, hey, so much dirty ass shit been done to us as a franchise over these past decades. You know what I mean? It's been a long time coming. And I tell you, usually when shit turns around, it's a drastic turnaround. It's not just slow progress. It's we finally figure it out and bam, we make that shit happen on the field, and it's like, these motherfuckers is unstoppable. You remember we felt like that in 2016, where it was like the Raiders is back. They were even talking about Derek Carr as MVP, and that was a balanced ass team. You know what I mean? It was balanced. But a coach want to leave a motherfucking quarterback in when you're blowing out another team, and then not only that, you draw up a play for this motherfucker to drop back and throw rather than hand it off and eat the clock and win the game, and your quarterback gets fucking tackled by the only sack allowed by Donald Penn that whole season. The only sack all season long Donald Penn gave up was on that fucking play. Come on, bruh. That's bad luck. But I think our luck has changed. We got different leadership, different players, that's additions. And I do look forward to this team doing something major. I look forward to this defense being improved. I expect this offense to be high scoring and controlling the clock at the same time. I think we're going to control the clock, get in the red zone, and the red zone blues is going to be gone. I think we're going to score points in the red zone now. We got options. We got a good play caller in McDaniels. We got good weapons to go to in the red zone. So with that being said, you guys, I just want to throw positivity out there on our team, because I'm knowing shit looks different. It smells different. I'm not going to say it tastes different, because I'm not tasting nobody's shit to see what they ate. You know what I mean? For real. But yes, Raiders. You already know, Robert. All day long, man. So with that being said, I hope each and every one of you guys have a blessed day. I'm glad and happy that each and every one of you guys came and spent your Tuesday morning with me. I'm blessed to have a nation that I can call my own, because, hey, Raider Nation, there's nothing better than us. Nothing. And we're loyal to the soil. You feel me? So shout out to everybody out there that was in the chat. Once again, those who's watching, please subscribe and like. That's all I ask. Let's help me grow this channel and I want to do it with you guys' support. And I will be here every weekday morning unless further notice. Like next week, I won't be here every morning. There will be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday show. But Thursday and Friday, I will be out of town next week, as well as Saturday night live from the Raider Asylum. But yeah, I'm off those days. I'll be out of town, but I will be back for that Monday morning. So y'all be here. Monday morning is going down. All right. So I promise next Monday I'll be back and we can go ahead and jump right back into it, because now we'll be into July, getting close to camp starting. And now we get to watch our undrafteds, our rookies, and our free agents get out there and show us, Raider Nation, what kind of team to expect this year with the depth, rotation, and even possibility new starters. So with that being said, man, I salute Raider Nation. Thank you guys for pulling up. You have been watching Good Morning Raider Nation. This is the channel, Raiders Allegiance. I am your host, Lunatic Raider. Hey, I salute you guys. Silver and black, Raiders Nation for life. You feel me? Bad boys for life. All right, y'all. I'm out. Enjoy your day. Be safe. And I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Peace.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? I always ask that of all my prey. I just like the sound of it.